Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talisar. Today, we're going to be starting a new series on President Grant. For this episode, we're going to go over his background, and the next episode, we'll go over his first stint in the military and his time between the first stint and second stint. The episode after that will be his second stint in the military, which will also cover the Civil War. And then the episode after that will be wrap up and his time as president. So let's go ahead and get started with him as we know him before both wars. So, and by both wars, I mean the Mexican-American War and then the Civil War. So, he was born Hiram Ulysses Grant, not Ulysses S. Grant. So, his initials were Hug. So, yeah, poor guy. He was born on April 22nd, 1822. He died on July 23rd, 1885. This is what he looked like. Yay. So, he was born in Point Pleasant, Ohio. If you've been to that part of Ohio, you know it's nothing special. His father was a tanner. His father was a Whig and an abolitionist. And so this is kind of giving you some of that background there to how he grew into things. Grant hated the tanning business. He did not want to go into it. So his father, being who he was, he helped him get into West Point. And during this time, he had started to develop a reputation for riding horses, and that continued throughout his entire life. He was known well for his ability to ride horses. He was raised a Methodist, but he was not necessarily religious, and he was pious and quiet-natured, but not necessarily religious. And they talked to one of his sons, and then that son said that he was more of an agnostic than, say, a Methodist or anything. But he still followed the Methodist way of doing things because that's what he grew up with. He wasn't involved in politics before the war. He knew his father was an abolitionist, and he kind of sided with that. And as the war progressed, he became a fervent abolitionist, but we'll go over all that later. So, like I have on here, he leaned Whig, like his family, but he married Julia Dent in 1848. The Dents were a Southern family in Missouri. You know what that means. They owned slaves. Well, this definitely caused a rift with General Grant's family because they were fervent abolitionists, and the Dents thought very differently. So they married under these hostile conditions. One family saying slavery was okay, the other family saying, no, it is definitely not. Well, we'll see what happens as time passes between those two families, but they will never get along. So, Ulysses and Julia had 4 children. They were Frederick, Ulysses Jr., Ellen, and Jesse. Well, that was episode 1 and the background behind President Grant. In our next episode, we'll go over his first stint in the military, which covers the Mexican-American War, and then that period between the Mexican-American War time frame and the American Civil War. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and have a wonderful day.